Let me know when you're ready. It'll get time for everybody to get on. We drop out.
All right, I see we're good on Twitch.
Oh, wait a minute.
Lower decks. That woman.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't mean to close the Trello. Where'd that go?
We got all the Trello cards loaded on the chat, so we're not only on Trello, but I can pull them up and cover them on the screen.
Outstanding.
See?
Nice. Very nice.
That's why I was trying to hurry up and get everything done.
Lorian. Mandalorial. What? That's a meme right there.
What did it do?
I accidentally typed out Mandalorial. Can you imagine long flowing hair coming out of the under the helmet?
Yeah. Right. Are you about ready? You got everything shared away?
Almost. Battlestar Galactica. Hashtag Uncharted.
We'll wait for viewers to come on in. Hello, everybody. We're just getting the last few details sorted out over here, and we'll get this started momentarily. Thank you for joining. Hello, Brenda.
Thank you, everybody. Please bear with me. Please bear with us.
It's been a long week for the Super Geeks. If that laugh says anything, we know, and Ross hasn't been here the last couple of shows. It's been quite crazy this week.
Just as well, I have very few kind things or constructive things to say about all of that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's quite okay. We can keep the explicit for other things. I'm sure we have plenty. Hey people, hello everybody. We're almost ready to roll here. Poor Ross, it's been kind of running since 5 a.m., so kind of got here at the last second, but that's okay.
And a lot of intensive mathematics.
All right, how are we doing on social, bud?
Getting the Facebook stuff out now. Twitter is out.
I should have everything already shared to Facebook. Let's see, I think it's a checker. Okay, all right. Gotta go in here. All right, so painter, brand. You know when you're ready.
And I am good to go. The Mycelial Network News reviews Far From Home, Star Trek Discovery, Season 3, Episode 2. All of this and more tonight on The Real Super Geeks. We almost didn't do the anime opener. And welcome to today's episode of The Real Super Geeks, the 23rd of October, 2020. It never ends. I am going to be taking over as host tonight. The drowned dynasty shall reign supreme. As you guys know, Carlos and Sean have been running themselves ragged with a lot of the acts in our news, and they definitely need a break. So we're giving that to them. Please send them your love and support. All right, and we got a lot of fun stuff we're talking about today, and joining us as always, our stalwart and on-the-ball producer, Justin.
Hello.
Ensign Beard Fasse himself and his loving and adoring son.
Oh, that was
good.
He's a character.
Classic.
He takes after his old man.
10 point.
Jason, how you doing?
Wait, his old man is Sean?
No, me.
Oh!
I'm doing good. It's cold here in the mountains of Utah.
Oh, it's cold here too.
Feeling it here in Iowa as well. And of course, there's Travis and Lane.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing today?
I'm okay. Battling some ADD struggles this week as I've been doing some creative writing, but other than that, I've been all right. The state's burning up, though.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yep, I guess that's 2020. I mean, everything's here on fire, you know.
Literally, figuratively.
Apart.
But hey, we're here to have fun, so let's keep the good vibes going. And
Thanks.
adopting her new
Positive.
persona as our mascot today, Sunsail as the Tentacles.
Hello, everybody. Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah. I couldn't. I really couldn't. How you doing, son?
I've been doing well. I've had my What Are We Watching since Monday, so
Yeah,
that's been a thing.
yeah. You yanked me down that rabbit hole as well, and we'll get to that in due time. Are you still riding that high of good vibes you had from last week?
It's still going. I had some really okay. So for those who are wondering, Carlos is not here. He had some personal issues today, and we're all just take the time you need, Carlos. Get better, man.
We love you, man.
I had something similar, not exact like that happen today. So there's a really huge chink in the armor right now, but we're still rolling along.
Outstanding. All right, so let's roll into our topics for the night. And first and foremost, the thing that is going to be dominating our discussions for the foreseeable future, for the next few weeks at least, Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 2, Far From Home, has debuted, and now we are going to talk about it. Last week, we had Burnham's story, her personal journey throughout this new universe for us to explore. No idea what's going on. Friends are now enemies. We have no idea who our friends are. We got this asshole right here that we don't know what to do with. And it dawned on me yesterday that there was a reference that none of us caught. So before we get into the episode, when Burnham was being interrogated, when she got dosed with their gas, the two interrogators wanted to walk away. Hey, let's go get a sandwich. Sandwiches apparently do exist in the future, and that's a question Scotty asked Kirk and Spock Prime in the 09 movie. Kelvin reference right there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
All right.
What was that? Wait, what was that? Wait. Back to truck up.
I think that might be a bit of a stretch there, Ross.
Okay, it's a stretch, but my mind's weird.
Wait. What was the reference?
We know this.
All right. In Star Trek 2009, when Kirk and Spock Prime show up on Delta Vega and they find Scotty, he's complaining that he doesn't have any food. He's expecting them to be there with supplies and with food. And he's completely unimpressed by the fact that Kirk says Spock's from the future. What are you, from the future? No, I'm not. He is. Oh, well, that's brilliant. They still have sandwiches there.
That's right.
Yeah,
I mean, I know the quote,
sandwich.
but I do believe it is a stretch.
No,
Because
I don't think that's a stretch.
You guys
Yeah,
are just
I've heard
nerds.
plenty
That's
of
all
people
it
want to
is.
get a sandwich.
That's all it is. You guys are just that big of nerds.
Well, it's okay
And
to be there.
you're really
Is
not
there a
figuring
problem
this
with
out?
that? He's the one who has tentacles.
I'm just a different kind of nerd.
I don't think it's a stretch because having an Orion eat a white bread sandwich with the crust cut off was a pretty odd choice. I even thought so when I was watching it.
It just didn't dawn on me that that was the actual reference. Because it's been a while since I've seen the 09 movie.
At least he wasn't eating ants on a log, right?
What was that, Travis?
I think we should get to episode 2.
Yes. So
the Mandalorian episode.
We have everything that happened in episode 1, and now we have episode 2. Now it's Discovery's time to shine, so to speak, or more accurately, tumble out of control, out of the wormhole into a completely new and weird place, a broken planet with shards of crust just free floating in the air, and just it was a crazy opening scene.
Yes,
as Discovery is just righting itself. The entire crew is incapacitated, and everyone but Detmer's eyes are sealed shut. But she's bright-eyed. She was awake and aware for the whole thing, apparently. And that disorientation seems to carry on throughout, even though she didn't have anything medically wrong for her. What did you guys think of that opening sequence and the crash landing?
Well, I'm kind of glad that they kept the whole knockout thing, because time travel. They started that all the way back to the voyage home when they did the slingshot, and it happened, I think, in TOS even.
Yeah, the first time they did the slingshot maneuver in, what was it?
TOS?
It was one of the first time travel.
Yeah.
Time Zero was Voyager. Go gadget Google.
So are we talking about the one that did it first, or hold on?
Yeah, I think it was the very first slingshot in TOS. I think it's can't remember. One when he went back, not to 1969. Or was it? It might have been the 1969 one.
No, because that was the second one.
While you nerds are searching, this was Star Trek's Mandalorian episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It does have a very fun, it does have a very Western feel to it.
It was too Western, dude. Admit it.
Oh, well,
it was very Western,
and that is what
I just said.
It was nice and refreshing.
Tomorrow is Yesterday was the name of the episode.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it was that one. But it was it was refreshing. It felt like they're really in the unknown, and it was nothing that we're familiar with. I mean, you're kind of a little bit familiar with a couple things, but then it throws you into, oh, hey, that's completely different. They're in a whole new sandbox now, so they can kind of do whatever the hell they want.
Before we get too into who they found, let's talk about the situation on the ship. Who else got kind of giddy when Saru started laying down the law on Georgiou?
Yes.
Here's the former Empress of the Terran Empire, the queen of all she surveyed, looking up at something she used to eat for dinner, giving her orders.
I love danger ganglia-less Saru. Thank you.
Yeah,
I actually look. I haven't been too vocal about this, but I will go ahead and I will finally throw the bragging rights out there. The first time that I saw this 2 weeks ago with Jason, as soon as we saw episode 2, I was immediately ecstatic for what we were going to see from Saru, because he's easily my favorite character of the show right now. And he and Georgiou just carry this episode in so many ways. Not only is Saru just not only does he have the presence and the command that a captain should have, but I mean just when he's walking outside the ship with Tilly and just being supportive and just reassuring. I was like, good God, this guy deserves to be the captain so damn much right now. And that scene where he's walking beside the lake with Tilly, just keep talking, ensign, you are a wonderful first impression of the future. I was like, that is my man. That is my man right there.
It's funny how he's able to keep that air of command despite his very alien gait. The way he walks, where he swings his arms behind him as he moves. He's such an incredible actor, just making sure that everything about his character is alien, not just his face and
Look,
his
Doug
boots.
Jones is amazing.
Yeah.
When
When
Jones is a
I
hell of a person.
when I ranked Saru in the protagonists list at number 6, I very much gave a lot of credit to Doug Jones as an actor. I thoroughly 100% believe that we are very lucky to have someone like him in Star Trek right now. I hope we keep him for a very long time. I hope he gives us a lot of memories because, Star Trek, I love our actors, but we don't get a lot of really fun people sometimes. I mean, we have Patrick Jones. Not Patrick Jones, Patrick Stewart. There was a brain fart if I've ever had one. Patrick Stewart. We've had Leonard Nimoy. I mean, we have a whole bunch of big names in there. But I mean, as far as people who have really made a name for themselves, who are really stood out, we don't have a lot of people. And I feel like Doug Jones might be one of those people, especially with roles that he's had in things like The Shape of Water and whatnot.
Well, Doug Jones brings back an incredible pedigree with his previous roles. He might not be well known. His face might not be well known, but in every single movie where they needed a slender individual in a lot of prosthetic makeup or practically a full body suit, and he brings so much experience emoting through his body and through his voice more than anything else in a very, very pure and method way that just really brings a lot to the character and to the show as a whole.
And I said this before earlier in our chat, and I'll say it again. They better make him CIC of all of Starfleet by the end of this show's run, or I will be pissed.
We'll see about that. There were some interesting things in the teaser for the next episode that we'll talk about once we get to it. But back to the episode itself. We had the crash. We have them picking up the pieces. Do you guys have any final thoughts on that before we move on to the next part of the episode?
The crash was very well done. I mean, it was almost, again, they got a thing with crashing ships on snowy hills. I mean, they did it in Lower Decks, they did it in Voyager, and now they've done it again on the show.
I guess the final thought I will conclude with in this section is that it was very nice to see Tig Notaro again.
It's always good to see her. She's definitely one of my favorites.
Yes.
Yeah, and I recommend if you haven't yet, if you listen to this week's episode of Star Trek: The Pod Directive, Tig Notaro was the special guest, and it was this phenomenal interview talking about
hilarious.
How she, this is a perfect gig for her. It's not, she doesn't want a full-time job. She wants to, just work every now and then, and so And what's great is that means they don't have to overwrite for her. It doesn't have to become overdone. One of the things about I love Pulaski. I think she's probably one of the best doctors in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that she was a bit overdone by the end of the season. So I think that dry, wry humor that she puts out, can be done in good doses, and it'll always be welcome.
Yeah, I thought they were trying to make Pulaski too much like McCoy, and I think they've done that a lot. There's a lot of complaints when TNG first came out, how much they hated Crusher.
The character was doomed the first time she was mean to Data.
Yeah,
but by the end of the season, listen, this is character development, and Pulaski was one of the few that had legitimate character development.
Yeah.
She started off this crotchety old biased against Data, and by the end of the first season, we get to peak performance, and she's literally one of Data's biggest cheerleaders.
Except, I'm so glad that whoever was writing that script, at the end of Pulaski's season, decided to just chop that line out of the fucking script where she goes if you decide to do something, go settle there somewhere. And it's God, that would have been harsh and completely fucking out of character.
Anyway,
but I do want to say about the crash.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that she had watched the event horizon of the time travel. So when Detmer was injured, what I feel going on watching her and watching her go to sick bay and all that stuff is more along the lines of the physical damage is fine. It's all been repaired. The physical damage to the tech is fine, but there seems to be cross-wiring that may be going on that's screwing with her because of the jump, possibly.
Well,
They definitely laid that on pretty thick.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's because like even with Discovery jumping through time, sure, it jumped through time. You can't expect that ship to be all well and good jumping through time in the first place.
It certainly wasn't. There was a lot of stuff broken, and that leads us into.
It was pretty messed up before it crashed into the fucking asteroid.
Yeah, that's one thing that I actually kind of forgot about that during the episode. They just got out of a pretty major fight.
Yeah, it started off pretty much exactly where it left off. Yeah, of course, the rocks on the bridge from the exploding cons. I hate that they do that. I really hate that they do that, but it's classic Star Trek. I mean, it is. It's been a thing since TNG. So I mean, rocks on a bridge. Why not?
Styrofoam bricks.
Yay.
What I don't get is that, like, shouldn't there be chunks of material from the walls missing from where the bridge rocks land or come from?
That's expensive. They only have a multi-million-dollar budget. That's expensive.
Yeah, remember they had to tear down and rebuild the whole set just for this season, according to the haters.
Anyway, the crew collects all the crew takes stock of everything that's broken. They get an idea that there are people out there. And Saru makes some interesting assertions that they need to treat it like first contact, that they need to be careful about what they reveal and how they reveal themselves to the outside world. What do you guys think about that? Was trying to interact with people based on the Prime Directive the correct thing to do?
Definitely a reverse kind of pseudo-temporal Prime Directive for sure.
Well,
I don't think it was so much Prime Directive focused. I think it was just wisdom, right? So let's not show our hand. Let's not tip these people off that we might have, low tech. We may be, we don't want to give people the impression that they could take advantage of us pretty easily, because we don't know what the situation in the state of the universe is 900 years after we left. So I think it's pretty much wise to, it was self-preserving, in my opinion.
And they weren't even for sure at the time that they actually went that far into the future. I mean, anything could have gone wrong. So, doing that right out the gate until they got the lay of the land was probably just the right thing to do. And Brenda brought up a good point about Danvers earlier that I didn't get that in. I've heard this rumor floating around too. Maybe somehow Control infiltrated her.
No, Control's gone.
Yeah, I don't. If we do hear or see anything from Control, I doubt we will. They dealt with Leland pretty definitively and dramatically, which we were reminded of a bit later on this episode when Terry was scooping chunks of Leland off the spore chamber.
My name's Gene, actually.
Yep. What do you guys think? Welcome to Roddenberry.
Yeah.
Gene. My name's Gene. I've already forgotten that.
And I love how she was all like, I'm just on drugs. I don't care.
So Saru and Tilly set out to find out what's wrong as the crew tries to put everything back together. We see Stamets again, who's not exactly in the best shape, much like the rest of the crew and the ship itself.
It is nice to see Stamets and Colbert back as they were. I was very happy that they are
Colbert
trying to pick up the pieces. Colbert, whatever.
No, don't correct him. That is the most amazing shipping canon ever.
Hey, son.
Are you saying you want to see Stamets and the Boner Champ hang out?
Oh God. Good night, everybody. I'm heading out of here. Y'all are weird.
Well, duh.
So they really worked on the tension and the mystery of the environments as Saru and Tilly were heading out into this unknown planet.
Wait, no, we can't leave this thing without talking about the sass. Oh my god, the sass between those two.
It's so much.
It was
so
so
much better.
beautiful. It was. It felt so much like a real relationship.
I'll let you go back to work if you can spell out my partner brought me out of a coma and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
And you tried. You really tried.
And then you see him in the healing chamber, and he's like, "Okay, well, no, you still got it wrong, so you need to keep trying. It's going to hurt." Like, are you trying to punish me? This is hilarious.
One of the criticisms of Discovery is that we haven't gotten a lot of development from the crew, and when you think about it, we're what, 25? This is the 26th, 27th episode of Discovery so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
15.
This would be about the end of the first season.
Right. This would just be about the end of the first season of the other series. And I think that like we've seen a lot of character development. Yeah. We've seen a lot of the relationship between Stamets and Culver. We've seen, Saru turn into his own. I think that what jars people is that we don't see as much of the bridge crew, but I don't think the bridge, as much as I know, Detmer and what's her name that I can't even begin to pronounce her. I'm going to be
Oshikun.
I get it. Like, we're used to seeing the bridge crews being the main crew. One of the cool things about Discovery is that the crew is very diverse from different, it's not just the bridge crew. It's an engineering part of the story is going to happen in engineering. It's not going to be the set we go to maybe once every 2 or 3 episodes. It's an important integral part of the show. So,
Yeah, the engineering lab was one of the most prominent. Was one of the first sets we saw. The engineering lab before we saw the bridge.
Yeah, and that was. Go ahead.
Can we just admit that Giorgio right there, where the guy's pulling out the comms thing, has the Terran Empire equivalent of Philip J. Fry going, fix it.
It's interesting to see. It's interesting to see. Go ahead, Justin.
And after all that, you can still see her concern over Michael, and that was quite cool to see. I mean, this feels almost like a whole new show. I mean, the dynamic's different. Everything feels much more. I don't know. It moves so much more better. I just don't understand. Really get how, but it just feels different. It feels nice. I mean, I loved how everything flowed. Like, it keeps you glued to it every second of the way.
Giorgio has a really interesting perspective in this episode. While the crew, they're all concerned for Michael as well because she's a part of the family and she's not there, but they have a purpose. They have to tend to the ship. They have to tend to each other. Giorgio is the outsider. She is not a part of the crew. She doesn't have a purpose on this ship aside previously to beat the snot out of Control and Leland. Her only real connection to any of these people is through Michael. So her first and only concern is Michael.
And her she has also the connection with Saru and that connection being through her palate.
Yeah, but I think she'd find him a little less palatable now.
See, that's the problem.
A little thorny, you would say?
A little bit. She's got a bit of a sting to him.
That's the problem that I think I have with both season 2 and now this from Giorgio, is that I have to agree with Lori Loaded. It seems like Giorgio cares way too much for Burnham. Way too much. She should absolutely know this is not her Burnham. Why does she care so much?
I think that's easier said than done. I think if you have someone taken from you, and we've seen this in other genres or other genre shows. I'm undertaking a watch of Doctor Who, and we just finished the end of season 2 where the Daleks and the Cybermen were fighting, and you have the connection between and I mean, I'm nowhere. All the Whovians out there are going to go nuts. Rose's dad and from the other world, and and then Rose's mom, and they make that connection. And I mean, like, I think there's something to be said about, like, that familial connection that's being drawn to you, even though it's a different person, it's still that person.
Well, the whole reason Giorgio is in this universe is because Michael couldn't overcome those feelings either.
Yeah,
she couldn't bear to, even after Giorgio said that she was going to sacrifice herself so Michael could get home. Michael couldn't bear to lose another one, so she rescued her.
It's understandable out of Michael, and it's kind of counterproductive entirely out of Mirror Giorgio.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
I mean, aside from she loved her Michael.
Yeah, and that love of her Michael was literally just now in the process of costing her fucking everything.
Yeah, but she channeled all that anger at Lorca rather than Michael. And
sure,
and now and here she is. Here she is in a completely new environment. Like I was saying, she has no tie to the ship and to this crew. The only thing she has, the only thing that she can grab onto, is Michael.
All right. I'd agree with that assessment.
Yeah. I mean, I would too, just because it's okay, Michael was the one that saved her. I mean, Michael could have left her there on the ship. Instead, Michael saved her life and gave her a new life. And he said, quote, at some point, it's like, I enjoy hopping from universe to universe and seeing what trouble I can get into. And I think he made that quote to Saru at one point.
It's only a matter of time before they put me in charge.
Yeah. And I mean, it's probably going to be a jumping off point for the Section 31 show, unless she finds Burnham's mom's time suit, steals and goes back.
Like I said earlier, there was something in the teaser I'll bring up later.
Yeah.
But final thoughts before we move on?
Let's do it.
So Saru and Tilly make their way across this landscape and find the inhabitants. And that's where we get to Sun's observation that this is essentially the Mandalore episode.
And I mean, I love it so much. And that's what we all love the Mandalorian for, was Wild West feel.
Well, somebody said, I think it was I don't know, I don't remember who it was. There was too much Western. There's never such thing as too much Western.
Bullshit.
Star Trek was envisioned as the wagon train to the stars.
There is too much Western in it, and that was too much Western. It was so much Western. It was cheesy on top of Star Trek. And I know Star Trek's been cheesy, but there's an amount of cheese layered on to this Western episode of Star Trek where even I was like, damn, God, come on, really?
Yeah, but you know what? It was the right amount of cheese for me, because I mean, it wasn't overblown like it was in The Mandalorian. It put end to the story, right? Because I mean, it's a future devoid of what everybody's used to. It's pretty much the Wild Western frontier. I mean, warp drives, scarce and far between now, and it's not like it used to be. I mean, they still have technology, but it's not utopia to left. You got to trade for everything. You got to trade to survive. Just like the Wild West.
Okay, if you're going to claim this episode was cheesy, you're going to have to explain that, Sasan. You're going to have to kind of explain to me what aspects of this was cheesy. Why was it cheesy?
Okay, so like there's this one shot where the bad guy and his crew are walking into the bar, and the
Spurs.
I literally, like, the fact that it was a fucking boot shot that pans up to the guy, and I'm like, God, really? Like, every fucking Western ever? Yes. Really? Do we have to have this?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Because
I mean, I will admit right now, I don't leave a baked potato with not cheese on it. Like, I literally put a mountain of cheese on a baked potato. This was too much cheese for me, okay?
Well, see, here's the thing, and before you take justice out of your system, I mean, every Western or any Western theme always starts with a spur shot, And generally, anything goes always starts with a spur shot going up. They did it in the next generation with war, and they've done it other times in the past. I think they even I think they even did it in the fan film continues when they had Doug Drexler on. They done that thing in the holodeck, and they panned up and showed someone in a freaking spur boot. Yeah. I mean, it's a thing for the westerns, and if they don't have that, people would complain. Well, you didn't show any boot spurs. How is it supposed to be the Wild West without any boot spurs?
Honestly,
Jason, go ahead.
Go ahead, Travis.
I think Jason needed to say something.
No, I mean, I am a buff. I'm a fan of the Western genre. Firefly is still one of the best sci-fi shows ever made.
Yes.
Tombstone is one of the best films ever made, even though it may not be historically accurate. Who cares? And I love Westerns. I love the ruggedness. I love the idea of the frontier. I love the idea of having to the having to defend yourself, and you are the law, but the law is whoever the strongest is in the storytelling. I think it's very powerful. And the idea, and we see that here, the courier is the most powerful. Like he is the law. They do what he wants. And I like that the new boys in town are the carrying the marshal badge, and they're resetting law and order. I mean, that's quintessential Americana type storytelling, and we got it in a modern Star Trek show, and where some of the
silly flag waving,
right, and was it were they using cinematic tropes and cinematic? Yeah, sure. That's not cheese. That's just what goes with the genre.
Travis, you had something to say?
I was just gonna say that as far as like the setting is concerned, with it being set in a universe where resources have become a bit more depleted and law has kind of fallen a bit, I think that the setting is very fitting, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you that sense that this is truly a new frontier. It's unknown. This is a whole new playing field. Starfleet's it's very unheard of now. I mean, it's basically a rumor.
It's a legend, is what it is.
It's a legend.
I wouldn't say that.
And no, I mean, the way the characters reacted, it was like, well, wow, we knew you all come someday. We've always heard stories about the Federation, and, we actually finally get to see it. And, I mean, at this point, Current Discovery does not know what happened to the Federation.
It's the fall of Rome.
Yeah, I mean, they don't know.
So, first contact. Tilly and Saru walk into the bar and are immediately set with a face-off. How did you guys enjoy watching Saru and Tilly diffuse the situation?
It was very Tilly-like.
Yeah.
It definitely proved Saru correct during that walk, because it was very much Tilly that diffused the situation by quoting Starfleet regulations of all things.
Yeah.
So we're not freaking out when you're pointing a phaser at us. It's actually very scary.
Quoting Starfleet regulations and being incredibly sincere.
Yep. And
just being Tilly.
They're like, yep, okay. It's you too. Yeah, I mean, I just loved how that scene played out. And I'm like going, oh hell, there's about to be a bar fight. And then there was a bar fight later on when George showed up. I mean, who all figured that he was going to sneak out of the ship and come after him? I mean,
I think that was a given.
Yeah, that was very much a given.
Yeah, whenever that happened, we all knew it.
Apparently, these folks are Corridanites, who were first mentioned in Journey to Babel. Miners wishing to join the Federation. So, an interesting choice.
That makes sense.
Having them be Discovery's first contact and reintroducing them into the Federation in a way.
Oh, yeah.
I really like their weapons. Honestly,
those
disruptors
big disruptors
looking. They look like a handheld kind of diamond, almost you could say like a laser cutter for mining with.
Yeah, like a mine. Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah, kind of a Dead
tool that
Space
is also
laser
a weapon.
cutter.
That's smart.
And the accordion. The system was a prime source of dilithium, so that explains the kind of shape the planet was in.
Yeah, kind of blowed up big time.
Yeah,
blowed up.
I kind of want to know.
Wait a minute.
Planet just free floating.
Well, okay, wait. Was it this episode where she explains the? No, it was the trailer for next week. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, we'll get that later. I think
because her explanation for the trailer for next week kind of makes a lot of what happened. At least, like you guys saying, the shape of the planet not make sense.
Well, we're going to get to
and
that.
I'll explain when we get there.
So, I really enjoyed watching Tilly watch the guy kind of knits the new component right there in front of her eyes.
That was.
I'm loving
this programmable matter. Like it's the most mundane thing he's ever seen. But here's Tilly watching with wide-eyed fascination as this guy is literally knitting together a new component just by looking at the old one.
Yeah, now she tries to play it off like, "Oh yeah, I do that. Like it was a test. You passed."
I mean, the programmable matter stuff. That's really cool. That just shows that, like, oh hell, that's a completely different. We first saw it in the first episode with the what's his name? What's that?
Yeah, the guy on the starbase is the bed, all of that stuff. That's got to be what that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fascinating.
We all thought it was a holodeck. Nope, it's programmable matter.
Yeah. Very interesting to see how LC uses this season because it definitely looks different than anything we've ever seen before.
Our first glimpse at what future technology looks like in the 31st century.
Indeed.
Kinda. We had a wonderful
doesn't look like a metal cheese wedge
in the first episode.
And then, of course, we finally get to meet the baddie of the episode. What was the guy's
Zara.
name? Sarah. Who was surprised to see that the guy was human?
I wasn't. I was thinking he was going to be human or Ryan or something like that.
So Jason had his thing a while ago after mine. With his explanation, this really is Fallout.
Yeah.
I said
because this would be Fallout New Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the most badass person on this planet is a courier.
Well, you'd need to be.
Yeah, because the courier that's the way it was with the West, because couriers, they got the information to and from, they handled supplies. I mean, if you were a courier, you were pretty well off, because you're one keeping everybody in stock and informed and doing whatever.
One of the most terrifying characters in the game was another courier.
Mm.
So I'm really interested to see if this guy is going to be a regular pain in the ass throughout the season.
They did leave his fate kind of
open.
Yeah, open. But I gotta say, I was when he was introduced. Of course, you had the typical bad guy trope with the bottom up camera pan, the freaking cattle spurs. But he was.
The one thing we haven't mentioned in all of this crap is the fact that the how do I put this? The settlement is separate.
Yeah.
The settlement is separated from the ground.
Dome.
Like the where they go, they actually teleport to through that little rock face, and that area is actually on one of the floating rocks in the sky.
Yep.
So
they're on Outland.
The
Did you guys catch the term that Zara called Tilly and Saru?
Yes, but I can't. Let me see. Where was it?
He called them
Dryash.
the Vidraish. Do you guys remember where that was from?
According to the list, it was the word first appeared in Calypso to refer to a mysterious force that it's in use here canonically establishes it as it's a corruption of the word Federation.
Yes. So this episode directly ties to Calypso, where Kraft, if you remember Kraft in Calypso, right? Escapes. The short trek starts with a guy entering an escape pod and seeing like videos of Betty Boop and Snow White and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes to turn out that his people were at war with the Vidraish, and the Vidraish enjoyed like these relics from the long ago. So we see a connection between what we saw in that one, and which was I think directed by again, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name because I'm just going to butcher it, and who directed this one. So there's definitely some tied to that short trek.
I wonder if you're going to actually, that's going to be considered actual canon. I mean, short treks kind of up in the air, really.
Short treks are canon, man.
Yeah, they're canon.
So I wonder if we're going to tie that better.
But here's the problem. Calypso happens in another 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Maybe. We don't know. All we know is the Discovery was kept in station for 1,000 years. We don't know if, for some reason, she's sent back in time and has to hold station for to catch up with the crew. Who knows?
I'm sure we'll get more answers soon.
So this is why Carlos hates time travel.
I hate time travel too.
Just don't think about it. Like Janeway says, don't think about it. It'll just give you a headache.
I just like
directive. It's easier if you just ignore it.
I just like the idea of now Discovery has a holographic avatar just to piss off all the people who keep calling this show like new Andromeda.
Oh man!
Wait a minute, they had an holographic avatar.
So
Calypso.
We got Zara. We've got his henchmen. We've got a tense standoff, and we have an interesting kind of battle of wills between this guy who's used to be in charge, who sees a new variable, and he's wondering how he can use it to his advantage. How can he bend it to his own desires? And despite being held at gunpoint, despite being leveled with threats, and despite watching him very brutally and just cruelly kill the one character, Saru stands his ground and refuses
Saru's
to be intimidated.
Man.
Those were some. God, I wonder what the hell happened in between. Like, God, what was it? Voyager at this point being the last series,
Yeah.
and then Picard, and now what the hell happened in the Mirror Universe? Because those were some damn agony rifles. I'll tell you what. Holy shit.
Yeah, when Giorgio comes back and she starts getting stuck by those, I'm thinking, you know what? I wonder how those compare to agonizers, and she's probably built up a good resistance at this point.
Well, she did say, and I quote, "What you call pain, I call foreplay."
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. I love the fact that Saru stood his ground and refused to be intimidated that entire time. That's absence of fear since he ascended.
It's a badass.
Yeah,
it made him a completely new character, and I love it.
What did you guys think of that scene?
It was well done.
I will flip shit if Saru isn't the captain this season, because he's earned it with this episode alone.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Well, if what we've seen in some of the promotional material is correct, I think that's where he's headed.
Yeah, but still.
I think from what we've seen, Burnham has taken more of the other role this season, which is good. The Discovery crew needs to be in the front center, because that's been the biggest complaint that the crew doesn't get.
Jason, go ahead.
Just remember, season 1 we had Lorca. and he's gone. Season 2, we had Pike, and he's gone. So before you ask for Saru to be captain, just think about the precedents on the show, Travis. I'm just saying, think about the precedents.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
I think there's some static on Travis's end.
I don't think
you're really somebody calling a cat.
I don't think you have to worry about it because this has kind of reset all the precedents. This is a completely new setting, a completely new universe. Who knows what the hell is going to happen?
I'm just saying.
And besides, Pike had to go somewhere else. He was a temporary captain to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. We've had 2 seasons. We have had 2 different captains.
Travis. Before
Travis, go
you
plug your lead.
You did say you wanted to see him as CNC of Starfleet.
That was me.
Okay, just
well, okay. At the end of the season, I mean, if he goes anywhere, he gets promoted above captain at the end of the season. I mean, and then someone else will take the captain's role. That will be the only thing I will accept. If he does go anywhere, he moves up because they're basically rebuilding Starfleet.
Yeah, but the question is, who the hell replaces him? Because it can't be Burnham.
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It can be Burnham until he can move up.
Burnham is the leader of this crew. No matter who the captain is, she has become the. I mean, that's why they're all in the 32nd century now, because of her, because of following her lead and supporting her. So it doesn't matter who the captain is. The leader of this crew is Burnham.
And technically, Giorgio can promote them all because she is captain.
Giorgio's a commander. She took a downgrade.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't you hear Saru keep dressing her down as commander? That was awesome.
Okay, so like this scene, these scenes, you guys are talking about Saru so much. Do we have to? Can we not talk about how amazing Tilly was at just shutting the hell up?
Yeah, for a change. Wow.
It's really
she did not try to diffuse any situation with just random rambling or anything like that. She just was present, let shit happen, and when was told to do something, did it.
She almost told Giorgio shut the fuck up there for a second. And I thought she was.
That was back on the ship.
She kept her cool remarkably throughout that entire scene. Cool as a damn cucumber.
Yes, that is completely out of character for Tilly.
Just a little Michael finally rubbing off on her.
Oh, please don't say it that way. Please don't say it that way.
I think it's development. I think it's growth. I think it's one of the things that this isn't lovelorn Ensign Kim week after week after week. Just reset. I mean, Voyager just didn't reset the button on the story. It reset the buttons on the characters.
Glenn.
With Discovery, we're seeing these characters grow and develop throughout. And so we've seen Tilly go from kind of being this neurotic mess. Yeah, she still has some tics. She still has, some quirks, but she's far more put together now than she was at the start, when we first met her as a cadet.
She's been through an awful lot. I mean, she got Burnham as a mentor. She got through Lorca. She got through being possessed by fungus. She's been through a lot.
And Brandon brings up a good point. Remember the episode in season 2 of TNG with the pen pal when dilithium caused planets to explode?
Oh, was that dilithium?
Yes.
I think, Justin's referencing the Force of Nature, I believe, from the final episode of... Was it Pen Pal?
Pen Pals, when David finds a girl on the planet.
Look it up as we continue on. So, the tension and the build-up is finally broken when Giorgio finally shows up, allowing herself to be captured. What, Travis?
I said, oh, yes! Like, I have been waiting to talk about this. I cannot... Oh, I was gushing when I...
Gush away!
I was gushing when I first saw Giorgio in this scene because, good God, she just drops some gold in this scene alone. Just like the very first line she says, I was like, yes, just go full Terran on these people, please. Like, did I interrupt a critical moment of diplomacy? It was very much like, my father loves Giorgio as a character, and he did express some concern in the second season, saying like, I don't know if I really care too much for her getting like as optimistic as she seems to be in this one season alone. He's hoping for a bit more of like a slow development. So seeing her like kind of take on this like, oh yeah, the like Terran side of me is arising again. I was very much like, oh, let's do it. Let's do
I
it.
mean, whenever they found out that she had deliberately went somewhere else on ship, and they were like, yeah, she left. They knew she was going to leave. They knew it. They already knew she was gone.
Didn't Giorgio come here to help? Are you serious, Giorgio? Help?
Like,
of course she did.
The best line of the episode, I believe, is, I'm gonna enjoy this new world. If this idiot can run a settlement, then imagine what I can do in my sleep. I was like, do it.
So it was, just to go back to this, it was dilithium. It was, according to Memory Alpha, in Act 3, according to sensor scans, Crusher, this is referring to Wesley, and his team discovered that the planet has become unstable because unusually high levels of dilithium in the crust have formed a matrix which creates a piezoelectric effect that's tearing the planet apart. So it was dilithium.
Okay.
In
Thank you, Brenda.
Penthouse.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks, Brenda. Travis, you need to up your game.
I have a lot going on, man. I am
Mr. Wikipedia.
I mean, he's still updating. He's still updating Memory Alpha from Lower Decks. So.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Wiki.
So, fight breaks out. Giorgio delivers the best line of her of the episode, which you call pain, I call foreplay.
Hell yeah.
Completely, she and Saru. I love how Saru reads the room immediately and tells Tilly, "When I tell you, go hide."
Yes.
And Tilly doesn't be a hero. She obeys. And still cool as hell as Saru and Giorgio become absolute. We get to see the spines. And
yeah, that's what I wanted. I would please let that not be the only time that happens this season.
No,
I highly doubt it.
I doubt it will be. It's a new thing. They're going to use the hell out of that.
But no, yeah, it was interesting. What's more interesting though, that these little things, they're little rifle things. They're kind of, well, I can't say modular, but they move. They're wands that turn into guns.
Mm-hmm.
So
multi-tools.
Multi-tool.
Well, I mean, they're not multi-tools. They literally only have one purpose: to fire.
A weapon is a tool. No.
Yes.
So we see, and at the climax of the fight, Zara is at their mercy. Giorgio is ready to blast him to agonizing death, and once again, Saru stares her down and makes her stop.
Wait. This was all of this is after the actual Tilly being a hero moment, where she glasses the guy in the back of the head with a bottle.
Yeah. So twice in one episode, we see Saru standing up to the Empress of the freaking Terran Empire. Holy cow. What?
Give me your weapon. I like my weapon.
If we're going by this, she loves Michael Burnham. She literally has no choice but to acquiesce because she just can't steal Burnham yet.
No, but she can say no to Saru.
She could have shot him in the face and took off, but where'd that leave her?
Well, true, but that's.
But that would have ruined the best part of Kelpian.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have that part anymore.
That part's gone.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. He lost his ganglia.
Yeah.
So does that mean he's really all tough and like gamey now?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I would imagine.
I've never had Kelpian,
because
so I
he's
don't
not
know.
scared anymore. The saying is, "Scared Kelpian makes for." Scared Kelpian makes for tough Kelpian. He doesn't have fear anymore, so.
Anyway, so we
Thank you, Justin.
Saru gives.
I tried.
Saru spares Zara and then turns his fate over to the Caridians, and they sentence him to walking out into the cold, where apparently the landscape is dominated by parasitic ice.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've seen parasitic stuff. We've seen parasitic rocks on Voyager, I think.
Look,
that was DS9, and that was a changeling.
I've watched enough Day After Tomorrow to know that freezing scares me.
But in that case, the ice isn't alive. This ice is alive.
Yeah, I know it's alive.
So here's the thing. They call it parasitic ice. That may not actually be what it is. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's just a crystal formation. It could literally be what dilithium evolved into when most of it exploded and went inert.
Crystals.
Time crystals.
No, you guys just missed my.
I got it, Travis. I got it. They're really amping up the bizarre sci-fi for this season.
Good.
They are.
Last episode we got space druid, man who can talk and pray to plants and animals. We got personal transporters. We got the transworm, and now in this episode we got parasitic ice. We've got floating freaking land masses on a broken planet.
Final Fantasy and Star Trek. Wow.
We got programmable freaking matter and living ice.
And yet we still had to have a Western get up.
Why not?
All of that can happen in a Western.
Hey, Firefly was Western.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Like the fact is this isn't the 1960s. The idea of smooth spaceships with rocket engines and flying saucers is over. Like, we're beyond that now. We have a different sensibility. And so what people want, like, I mean, for all of its faults, look at Avatar. Avatar created a truly alien world. And we know, and we have a story later on about an AR wall headed to Star Trek. I think this is just the beginning of what we're going to see as truly alien worlds.
Okay,
being
I have to
represented.
ask this question then. Who asked for a fucking cheese wedge as a ship? Because that's what that dude's ship was. It was a fucking cheese wedge. It was a metallic fucking cheese wedge.
The Nautilus is what it's called. I think there's actually... It looks a little bit big and odd, but considering what he hauls around, it makes sense. I mean, but the shape is just weird.
Well, and going back to season 1, we've also got a ship that travels the universe on a multi-dimensional fungal network.
I still think that's weird.
At least it's not the shape of a British police call box. Or
a 1950s diner.
Here's the interesting thing is it's stuck that way though. It should be able to turn into just about anything. It's stuck as a police box.
So is the diner.
So the crew make it back to Discovery with the components that they need to make repairs. They try to escape, but the ice won't let them.
Wait! Before we do that, okay. And I know we've been joking about all this, but the through line from episode 1 about true believers of the Federation, and you have the kid. The kid is the true believer in this episode, and he like literally gets offed immediately, and everybody's like, I'm like, what the hell? Really? You like the one good thing in this entire thing, and you just killed him? Okay, but
cruelly and brutally.
No, but his death allowed his brother to become a believer.
Point, because at the end, when his life, when the courier's life was given to the bartender decided to uphold some standard of the Federation when he could have just outright killed the guy. He's like, you know what? Get the hell out of here. Don't ever come back.
Well, that wasn't just a bartender. That was his brother, too, that had died. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I mean, yes, he died. Yes, the true believer was killed. But in the process, the result was he was replaced by his brother.
Thank you for repeating exactly what I just said.
Inspired by Saru and his intense belief in maintaining the ideals of Starfleet.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So it's like, at first I was like, no! And then I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, that's why I said at the end of the season, Saru better be at least natural.
So, the ice won't let the ship go. It is holding firmly to Discovery, and they can't escape.
And growing quickly.
And it seems the stakes get worse as an unknown ship appears, which then rescues them, which is revealed to be...
Was it the ship or was it the cheese wedge?
We don't.
It's the Titan.
It's the Titan. We don't know. We don't see it, and that's a big mystery. Is it? Did she show up in book ship, or is she in a ship of her own now? We don't know because we didn't see it.
I thought we did see it.
No, we didn't.
No, we only saw the cockpit.
We only saw the pilot, and that was Michael, long hair and all.
Well, we know she had her own ship there for a while because she was flying around. Planet to planet.
To which she finally reveals that she arrived a year before Discovery showed up. What the hell happened in that year, guys? Your thoughts?
Well, we know time travel. I mean, one of the things they've always had in time travel is still drift. So somewhere, because they didn't wind up at Terra Elysium like they had planned. They didn't wind up where her mother was tethered like they planned. So something has happened somewhere in the calculations, whether it was because of the battle or because they didn't program, compensate for something. So somewhere along the line, somewhere clubbed up, and Discovery wasn't exactly behind Burnham. I mean, it was right behind, even though they were following her, they're behind a little bit. And Burnham went reversed, and then Discovery.
But up to that point, those wormholes were just an occupancy of one.
Yeah.
And controlled by the suit, so who knows what happens to anything behind it.
Well, she's obviously looking for Discovery, right? I mean, at the end of the first episode, we see her, and she knows that Discovery isn't within 600 light years, and so we know that she's going to spend, she's committed to finding her crew, and being ready whenever they come, wherever they are. So I think she spends the year, looking for her crew and doing what she's got to do to get by.
Yeah.
I look at this situation and although the promo for this like a while ago did leave me to believe certain different things, like and question those different things, like for some unexplicable reason, it seemed like this was a ship that was crash landed where Burnham had landed, and yet she didn't arrive with the shuttle in the first place, at least in the end of last season. It made me question what was going on, and I look at this situation, and I still don't understand that promo, because we're going to see those shots in the next episode. We are.
Most likely.
But I don't know if we're going to see them. I don't know if we're going to see them the exact same way as we saw in the promo. But we're going to see the same shots. And I say this because she literally just kind of activated an outpost that has been dormant for forever. Why would she not choose that to be her base of operations instead of the planet?
Makes sense.
Oh, we don't even know if she's on the planet or not. I mean, she could very well be on the same planet. We don't know.
No. That's not what I'm saying. That's not like at the end of this episode. At the end of this episode, she literally says that this is the planet that she popped out at. She'd been searching for them for a year, looking for them on the planet.
Yeah.
And, in all of this time that she's been looking, she literally has an outpost in space that belongs to the Federation.
Wait. She didn't say that was the planet she popped down on.
I'm pretty sure she did.
I don't think so.
No,
there were no floating chunks of planet float in the air.
Yeah.
Well, if that look, I'm not gonna say anything about continuity errors between episodes. But I'm pretty sure she said blatantly that this was the planet that she popped out on, and she'd been coming back here searching for Discovery because she had taken up a job as a courier.
In what video?
Are
you talking about at the end of last week's episode?
I'm pretty sure she said it at the end of this one.
I'll go back and watch again. I'm not sure. Well, that's. Let's move on. There's
okay.
There's
fair enough.
We'd have to watch it again to be sure.
I'm watching it right now.
And we're already an hour in anyway. So.
Yeah. So the preview for next episode. A lot of things going on at once. Probably not all from the same thing, but a couple things that I picked up on. One thing in particular that stuck out for me: Georgiou's in a Starfleet uniform and wearing an admiral's comm badge. Did you guys see that?
Yes,
I did not
did.
see that.
She stole it. She stole it.
From who?
Well, my guess would be Cromwell had some uniforms on board from whenever she was there.
We also see Michael in uniform on Book's ship.
Yes, we don't see her rank. We don't see Saru's rank yet.
And we also see Discovery traveling to Earth.
And then we also see every dress Discovery a little bit later on. Looks like they fixed it up some. So it looks like they're getting a refit this season.
Stamets gets an interface to the spore drive where it's just sticking his fingers in into a podium. So no more arm injections.
Don't say it that. How many times do I have to keep saying this? Don't say it that way.
That's pretty much the way it was because he shoved the needle in his arm and made him go.
Don't say sticking your fingers into little holes. Don't say it that way.
So I did watch the video. Burnham says she landed here a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not clear. I mean, I think it's not. It's ambiguous to whether or not we landed here means like in the future or this planet.
But we also don't know if that planet, is completely broken up or just certain parts of it that's broken up yet. We don't know. We only saw one.
This wasn't the same planet we saw last week.
Could be in the same system though.
All right, let's wrap this up. Final thoughts on the episode as a whole and rating. Travis, go.
I personally really liked this episode. I thought it was much better than episode 1, to be honest. And I thought that episode was great as well. I'm very much looking forward to what the future has in store for us. I'll give it a nice 8.5. Why not? I'll be optimistic.
Sweet. Jason, go.
I'm giving this episode a solid 3 out of 3 badges.
You give every episode 3 out of 3 badges.
He just likes showing them off.
I just like showing off the badges. Okay, fine. How about 3 out of 3 patches?
It's still a 3 out of 3.
6. No. No, I mean, this was enjoyable. I mean, it was enjoyable. It was fun. It was, I enjoy these characters. When Travis and I got to watch this 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, whenever we got a chance to watch it.
Awful.
That's why I got the patches. But
awful.
I I was lamenting the end of Lower Decks because I'd really grown to appreciate them and enjoy the. But like this just kind of felt like going home. And we're 3 seasons in. It's been 18 months since the last time. I really like this crew. I like that's the one thing I missed about the first episode. We didn't see the rest of the crew, and I loved getting caught up with the episode with the crew. And keep in mind, this is probably a pretty solid, fair rating for me because I've had a week to digest it. It's not like we watched it yesterday and now I'm having to rate it. This has been multiple viewings, and I really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed the Western theme. I enjoyed the pioneer feel. I enjoyed the 3 or 10 or whatever you want to go. I give it a really strong rating.
All right, thanks. Son, go.
Okay, so I have to start off this with an apology. Yeah, shocking, isn't it? I told you guys this is going to be the most earth-shattering episode of Super Geeks ever. So, the apology. You guys remember last week when I went on a rant about how all the people were complaining about Burnham's acting and all that kind of stuff? I have to apologize to those people. I really do. Because I see what you mean now. This was an amazing, amazing episode. And there was no Burnham in it until the last, minute and a half? 9.5.
Justin, go. But keep it in that voice.
It's over 9,000!
I said the voice previous, not Vegeta's voice.
That was a recording thing.
But, damn.
Yeah. But I do have that voice, and we can do that really, really fast. Oh,
do it. Do it.
He says really fast. He still has to hunt it down.
I know. Dead air.
9.5.
That's really nice. I like that.
Any other parting thoughts?
It was fantastic. I mean, like Jason said, it felt like coming home again. It felt like something, different. It wasn't the same as the last 2 seasons. I mean, we missed this crew, we missed this, this show, but I mean, canon is out the window. I mean, that's done with now. It's a whole new playbook. They can do whatever they want in this show within reason, but they can still do whatever they want. And that means we're going to have one hell of a season.
All right, thanks. As for me, I really liked this episode. Last episode was all about Burnham and her journey forging into this new world on her own, and now we get to see Discovery pulling together, being the crew that we all know and love with a few new power dynamics. I loved seeing Saru step up and dress down Giorgio. I loved seeing Tilly just being her cute and awkward self, but somehow put together. It was great to see everyone working together, trying their best to get everything back to normal, even though the crew is just as broken as the ship, especially Stamets and Reno, and their dynamic together, trying to put things back together while they're so broken, was excellent.
I'm on drugs.
Bobcat. And Ensign Hazmat, that was just scooping up a bunch of broken bits of celery and chunks of meats. The meat! You
got a little Leland on your shoe there. You might want to scrape that off.
So I think these 2 episodes together is an excellent start to the season, and I'm very eager to see where we go from here. So that's an hour and 20 minutes we spent on Discovery. So let's move on to our next topic, still Discovery related. News that in a recent interview, Alex Kurtzman said that Burnham is going to investigate the fate of Spock. So,
I mean, this is
it's not going to be any. it's not going to be a driving force of any particular episode. But I mean, how do you think Burnham's going to react to the news about her brother's career and fate, as it is known in the Prime timeline?
Well, I mean, come on. We figured this is going to be one of the first things she does. I mean, she's going to check up on, Pike, and then she's going to check up on Spock and find out what happened to all them. I mean, it's just natural. And then, of course, check up what happened with Sarek and Amanda and just see what history she can find, if the history is still intact, because we don't know exactly how bad things are for the Federation right now.
We expected this simply because there's an episode called Reunification Part 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be interesting.
Yes,
it will be.
I really want to see if it's going to be, a true Part 3 to the other two parts. But we'll see.
Discovery really hasn't had any interactions with Romulans throughout the season so far.
No, I haven't.
No, it's not.
It's going to be cool to see their reactions to, especially Michael's realization that Romulans are offshoots of Vulcan.
Yeah, because at that particular point in time, it was still not known, because they haven't really, had the Earth War. Well, yeah, they had the Earth Romulan War, but they didn't.
That
really
was the
see
century
Romulans.
Before Discovery.
Yeah, they didn't really see the Romulans until well into TOS. So. They were still hidden behind their borders at the time. So, yeah, this is going to be a very interesting development,
So, let hot take wrap up of the subject. Travis?
I mean, I'm curious about how they'll approach it. I'm not, bouncing off the walls excited for it. I just figured that, I imagined it would come up.
Jason?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how she responds to the the contribution Spock made to the Federation, from his time on the Enterprise, brokering peace between the Federation and Klingons, him ultimately trying to reunify, and then his sudden disappearance. Does she try to find him? Does she try to find out what happened to him? That would be interesting too. I know there's an appetite out there to try to bring together the Kelvin timeline and Discovery, and I think, in this new, what's going on now, and I think that might be an opportunity if Kurtzman ever had his, he helped build the Kelvin universe, so I think that would be very interesting. It all depends on what the films do. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, see, the Kelvin universe was only ever separate because the rights were separate at the time, so they had
hot takes on the subject. Son.
Fascinating.
And Justin, final thoughts.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, especially if everything could, like you said, the Kelvin universe could definitely come into play here if she finds out what happened. I mean, do they know he went back in time? Maybe we'll get a nice little tie-in.
All right. Our next topic. Continuing with the Star Trek trend, backstage reports that Star Trek Strange New Worlds is now officially in casting. So we already know that Rebecca Romaine...
This is a plot by Alex Kurtzman. We all know that this show is not greenlit, and that this is just a plot by Alex Kurtzman to force CBS to greenlit the show.
It's all fake. It's all phony. We all know it's a lie because, they've already destroyed all the sets. They fired everybody. CBS is broke. Netflix ain't going to pay for it.
For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, they're kidding. They're joking. They're joking. These two are kidding. They're pulling your leg. They are joking because there's an entire circle of people that we call the Dark Circle. Some call the Fandom Menace that just like to do nothing but fucking drag every fucking piece of news or find the most horrible take ever. And honestly, I'm just fucking sick of it.
Or are they?
I'm speechless after that, because the amount of stupid I just heard coming out of you guys' mouths have left me just more brain mushy than after my statistics.
But Josh, this is literally the stuff they say. This is literally
the stuff they say. But I usually just read it. I don't hear it. And hearing it is a completely different response than reading it.
Yeah,
listen.
At the end of it,
because I don't watch those YouTube videos.
Wait.
I go out of my way to avoid them.
Listen. This predates YouTube videos. This is like, Star Trek Beyond was beginning production, and there were a couple of people. It's not the people who are doing the videos now. Maybe it is. It could be. I totally could believe Doug Fitz could be Doomcock, but these are people who would say Star Trek Beyond was entering production, and they were claiming that Dennis Bailey funded the production of Beyond, and there was no script, and this was just a ploy to force Paramount to greenlight the movie.
And Dennis Bailey came out and was like, "Are you all on crack?"
I mean, the guy may have royalties from Tin Man, but it's not $116 million to produce a feature film.
Last week, I spent too much time arguing with a guy trying to tell me that Carson was buying up shares of CBS to blackmail them to keep his job. How much sense does that make?
Hold on. I got the perfect thing for this.
Florida man.
Oh, and apparently Kathleen Kennedy's doing the same thing to Disney. Trying to blackmail Disney. Buy up shares to keep their job at Disney.
I think we broke Son. She's going nuts.
I'm happy to hear her laugh one way or another, even if it is slightly manic. Anyway, to the subject of the story. Our top three are back.
Wait. Travis has something to say.
I was just gonna ask if it's worth saying that I still have mediocre Metallica songs stuck in my head.
Jason will whip Baby Shark right back out. He will.
I will. Don't make me do it. I'll sing it. Like, I can't play it because there's copyrights, but I can sing it.
Please don't. Please.
Anyway. I think we're all pretty happy about this, and we've taken up all our time mocking the Dark Circle, so let's move on.
Stop. Okay.
Well,
in other Star Trek news,
yes.
Stuff that isn't being refuted by the Dark Circle because it's too damn good for them to criticize and not be criticized on their own. Jack Quaid tweeted out today that he is recording for Lower Decks Season 2. Production is in full swing, and he is back as Boimler. This makes me pretty happy. How about you guys? Travis?
I am happy to see it back so soon. I am definitely eager for Season 2 of the show. And I mean, I know that Mike McMahon probably doesn't watch this, but I'm telling you, Mike, if you ever come across this, 2 things I want, man. Just 2 things. I want to see Cetacean Ops.
Ditto.
And I want to see a reference to Turkish Star Trek. That's all I'm asking. Come on, I want to see tourist
like an all Turkish crew or something.
This is the perfect show to do that. Just throw a little background character, and it's tourist Omer.
I want to see a time travel episode to the 2260s. I want to see Mariner totally geek out over Kirk and Spock, and it all needs to be done in TAS animation style.
That would be awesome.
Well, they already showed a photo of TAS animation, Kirk and Spock. So, I mean, anything's possible.
It would be funny if they do that, if they have close-ups and they're all off-center.
Yes, where it's just their eye and a part of the nose, so they don't have to lip sync.
And I think, by the way, Travis, someone in chat is saying Hi Lane under the Super Geeks account, so it might probably be Carlos.
Hello.
Those old scientists.
I mean, if I'm gonna be canon about this, you'd probably be like, wait, but hello.
All right, Son, you haven't said anything yet.
You guys mentioned the guy's name, and the only thing running through my head is Quaid. Quaid, start the warp core, Quaid.
The bad thing now watching The Boys, I see Bulmer everywhere. I see Bulmer everywhere in The Boys. It's the same characters in The Boys.
I saved The Boys topics that I saw for next week. when Carlos is here, since he's the one who loves the show so much.
Yeah, it really makes your head pop.
Of course, Carlos would be fascinated by The Boys.
That season finale was explosive.
Yeah.
I'm going to finally get into the show because Jensen Ackles is showing up as a new character, and
don't let your kids watch last few episodes.
It's just that's not a show I'm going to let my kid watch at all.
Anyway,
So in a final Star Trek topic for the week, Star Trek is getting an AR tank just like the Mandalorian. Not just Star Trek though, but also the Batman. So as we alluded to earlier, this is going to open up the possibility to all sorts of things that they can do with Vista. It's Planet Hell without Planet Hell. What do you guys think?
I'm very much looking forward to see how they. Sorry,
go ahead, Travis. Able to see reflections now.
Like, I thought that it worked very well to the Mandalorian's advantage. Let me try this again. I thought that the Mandalorian used this type of setting and like filming rather uniquely to the show, and I'm very curious to see how Discovery will utilize the same technique. I mean, the Mandalorian looked great. So.
Yeah, because you can see the background of the vistas on the guy's armor. And, I mean, you don't really get to see reflections much in Star Trek because, like you said, they use Planet Hell. They use a soundstage, and it's all either green screen or, very small amount of in-ground props lets you do a big set. But something like this.
Or Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah.
Again. It also makes, I think, for more natural acting. To be able to respond to what is supposed to be there, as opposed to, you're acting against an actual backdrop as opposed to acting against a green screen and you don't have any clue, and I think that's part of the challenges of the prequel trilogy is that it was heavy in that. And I don't think actors had necessarily gotten to the stagecraft needed to be able to do that well. I think they're better now, but I think that's one of the flaws of the prequel trilogy is that they used way too much green screen. And it was
noticeable
that
the acting was they didn't know what to act against.
My mind always goes to the final scene of Phantom Menace where Padme's handing that glowing orb thing to Boss Nass, and she's staring at his stomach the whole time while he's looking down at her from above, nodding with a big old grin.
Here's one thing that this is going to be a good thing for, especially with stuff like space battles and whatnot. Instead of the crew looking at a green screen on the bridge, they'll actually have the AR wall on the outside of the ship. So they'll be seeing pretty much the star field and the actual space battle.
If they do it that way, it's more likely going to be for the Vista scenes, the landing party scenes.
Well, it would make sense if they had it just for like those type of scenes too. We don't know, but hey, if they have it for one, they can easily give something else too.
So here's that esotericness that Sean loves so much. It's a shame he's not here for it. You said AR tank, and my thing was, finally, we get something more badass than the Dune buggy. That thing from the Mandalorian. Okay.
Well, and on that note...
Well, the one thing I want to say, the cool thing about this is that now it becomes multi-purpose. It isn't just for Discovery. It isn't just for Strange New Worlds. And I'm imagining they could probably fly up the crew of Picard up to do work against this as well. Is that it's a single investment made for a lot of live action shows.
Mm-hmm. Well, we think about Picard because what the state of what's going on here in the United States. Filming might not really resume here in Hollywood.
Imagine what they could have done in the Borg cube with that thing.
Oh man, can you imagine if they? I hope they move Picard's production there because that would just up the game.
Or they just build
Patrick Stewart isn't going to spend 3 months in Canada.
He will for money, right?
All right. Transitioning from Star Trek to Star Wars, this week a new trailer for The Mandalorian released. And have you guys seen it?
I have not seen it.
Oh my god.
I am kind of in a place right now where I'm actually I am not going to watch anything Mandalorian until the first episode drops.
Well, it didn't reveal anything different. it just kind of elaborated on where we left off last season, leading into this one. The Mandalorian shows back up to Cara Dune and the what's his name?
Apollo.
Thank you. And asking them for help in finding the people of the child, the Jedi. And we see a bunch of clips from adventures from these guys, including Mando's ship being chased by X-Wings and TIE fighters and all sorts of fun stuff. So
a fun season.
Oh yeah. So Travis, we got you. I know what you're expecting. Jason, what about you? What are you looking forward to Mando season 2?
I am trying to convince the family to do a rewatch before next Friday, but I don't think we're gonna get through the first season. No, I'm excited. This show is great. Again, I love Westerns. I like, the idea of like the rugged outlaw kind of, being the law. So, I mean, it's going to be, it's the rumors are we get Ahsoka Tano, we get,
Sabine.
The other one is the actor who played the story is the actor who played Jango Fett. Has been cast. There are people who think he's going to be Boba Fett. Maybe. I'm hoping more. If we have Ahsoka, then I hope we get Rex.
Oh man, that would be wonderful.
And apparently the rumor for the season 3 title to Mandalorian is Buccaneer.
Season 2.
It's season 3. Working title for season 3 is Buccaneer.
Is that we got this covered headline?
No, it's from the direct and a couple of other ones.
Son, your thoughts, Mando season 2.
Variety has it.
I look forward to the dead corpse of George continuously proving Carlos wrong this season.
Did you see the spirit of George, not the dead corpse of George?
Please.
It's Halloween. It works this time. Son,
yes.
That's your one.
Look,
Thank
I have
God
really dark
here.
humor, so okay.
Jason, sorry, Justin, your thoughts.
Everybody always calls me Jason.
Hot take. Let's go. Go.
All right.
Look,
Yes.
it's because Zeb and Carlos aren't here to do that with.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah. I definitely want to see if George was right about somebody showing up this season, because I got a feeling we might see a Skywalker pop in, and that's George's biggest thing.
That's definitely been out there. There's rumors he's showing up in season 2.
Well, apparently
It's been a George thing since season 1, and look, nothing would. Just give me the blaster. Give me the blaster. I want to take myself out. Please, give me that fucking
blaster. Listen. If we get Luke Skywalker, it just proves Carlos wrong.
Yeah. And that's the story of the day.
In our next story, in our next topic, Simon Kinberg, the minds behind the last decade or so of X-Men movies, is taking the reins of Battlestar Galactica, the film outing for the beloved sci-fi TV franchise. So, what do you guys think about this?
They're doing another reboot.
They're making a movie.
They're making a movie.
Show?
Oh God.
Okay. Which TV show? The new one or the new one spin-offs?
It's going to be its own thing.
Oh.
Okay. So is the cycle starting over again?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what to think,
new universe?
honestly.
Well, it's the guy behind the X-Men movies, and those average out to be pretty good.
Maybe.
If it's the guy who's making the X-Men movies, just stop trying to make Phoenix Rising again, okay? I'm trying to apply that here.
I liked the first Battlestar Galactica. I liked the reboot up until halfway through season 4. I don't know. I think that this is a franchise that just, what else can you do with it? I'm curious. I mean, are you going to reboot it and do another group of people like trying to flee the Cylons? And does that make for a movie? Does that make for an entertaining movie? Or I mean, is that in episodic television?
Yes. Well, remake Galactica 80s and remake it well.
Well,
Galactica 2020s.
We're getting the Battlestar Galactica movie, but we're also getting another Battlestar Galactica TV series by the guys behind Mr. Robot.
Danger.
They are unrelated.
The emergency disrupt system is now activated.
Can we just get Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2?
Stop it.
Cartoon. We got the cartoon.
There was a Spaceball cartoon.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
It was bad.
What about Galaxy Quest 2? How about a Galaxy Quest reboot?
Oh, you can't
not do that.
No, that would totally rock. No. You have listen. You bring back the cast. Listen to me. This would be awesome. You bring back the cast of Galaxy Quest 2 and listen.
Let him talk. Awesome. Let him talk.
And then everyone in the cast, they're at a convention and they find the Alex Kurtzman of Galaxy Quest comes out and announces they're going to do a reboot of Galaxy Quest, and they bring out you have like Tim Allen there, you have Sigourney Weaver, you have you can't have what Dane,
Alan Rickman.
You can't have Alan Rickman, but then you bring out a cast of younger, more attractive people who are going to play their counterparts in the reboot movie. And that would be so awesome. And then they, and then the Thermians come back and collect them all, and it becomes this big. It would be gold.
No,
DreamWorks. You can use that.
George. No.
Bad. Bad.
I am cautiously optimistic about it. The X-Men movies, as I said, average out to be pretty good. When they actually tried, they were really good. So we'll see.
A lot of complaints.
Final thoughts?
We will see.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm with everybody else on this. We will see, because reboots are always a gray area until they come out.
Son?
Please support the official release.
It's over 9,000!
Moving on. Let's see. So Doctor Who is releasing a Dalek combat training manual.
I know nothing about Doctor Who.
Did Dayton Ward write this too?
No. But
it looks like
I don't see. I don't see how this could be any more than 2 to 5 pages, because all it is shooting things and yelling "exterminate."
It's a Dalek children's book.
Exterminate. Hey, so my kid wants to go as a Dalek next year for Halloween. He's already asked for it. Like him and my wife have started rewatching Doctor Who, and I'm watching it with him. And so now he wants to go as a Dalek for
exterminate.
So he wants to go as a Dalek. So now I've got to build. Now I've got to. I mean, that's a serious costume there that I'm going to start working on probably.
Unless you go with the early ones.
Well, he wants the ones from the. He wants the bronze one from, or the copper ones from the. Yep.
I don't know if I'm going to pick this up. Maybe. How about you guys?
I know nothing about Doctor Who, so.
I know nothing.
You know nothing? You don't know anything about Doctor Who?
Son, how about you?
I've never seen it.
What?
Well, I can't say that I can't say that I'm going to pick up this book, because, like, literally the only Doctor Who book I own is a fucking adult coloring book. So
nice.
Yeah, it is nice. I love it to death.
Moving right along. Let's see. Variety broke the story that Viacom CBS is promoting Tom Ryan, CEO of Pluto TV, to CEO of not only they're He's keeping the reins of Pluto TV, but they're giving him CBS All Access as well, leading up to the rebranding of Paramount Plus, taking CBS All Access from regional distribution to global. So this guy's been running Pluto TV for quite some time. What do you guys see that he might... Is this a good or bad thing for CBS All Access?
I mean, honestly, I don't know who this guy is. Like, if you know what, I'll just be cautiously optimistic. If CBS gave him the reins of it, I'm sure that he knows what he's doing.
Well, look at the way Pluto TV was. I mean, Paramount bought it because it was so owned by somebody else at one time, was it? Were they not?
They purchased it in 2019, so just last year.
Yeah, and I mean, they've actually gotten done pretty well. But I enjoy what's on Pluto TV. And I don't like some commercial content that much. But I mean, it's kind of nice to have TV like format every once in a while. Just for the hell of it. But I mean, here's something they could do with it. We kind of talked about this before the show a little bit. Like, not the new episodes and stuff, like older shows, and put it on as a TV, as streaming content for people who don't want to pay for a streaming service, or they can use it to try to get people into the streaming service. Like, hey, if you want an ad-free experience, come join CBS All Access and enjoy all this content for free, without ads, something like that. I mean, it's a way it can be a way for them to really expand, especially with Paramount going global now. It just, I'm optimistic this could actually, be something really big if they do it right. If they don't screw this up, if CBS, if they don't screw this up, they're notorious for, flub ups here lately, especially like we know with the Lower Decks International release.
Well, that was a consequence of the pandemic, man.
I know, but they should have at least had some type of clause that would allow them to still do international release. They had to broadcast it early.
They released the show 4 months ahead of time.
They could have put it on YouTube. They could have done something.
But they don't have international distribution yet, and which is kind of. I mean, why don't they at this point? Like they've had.
That's the purpose of the Paramount Plus rebranding.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but it's only going to be in certain countries at first.
Yeah.
So are you going to make other countries? You're really going to make your international markets wait. I guess if you don't want to sign the contract, I guess that's.
Well, they've got to negotiate to get into those markets. Some places are a bit more restrictive than others. Some are a lot more restrictive than others.
I mean, it's just, they could have done a little bit better job. Because, if I was CBS, I would have put, after earning it in the U.S. with the current situation going on, with them getting into the markets, I would at least put the first season of it up on YouTube. Maybe put in the location restriction for the U.S., but where people outside the U.S. can see it.
Well, Viacom CBS has other streaming properties as well. They own Showtime. They own Nickelodeon. So I am curious to see what other banners come under this organization. I think it makes sense. I think the future is streaming, and making those investments. You should do it with synergy, right? So you think about making sure you're utilizing capacity across your data, your data structure and things like that. Like, I think it makes sense. It's just, we'll see.
Son, you haven't said anything yet.
I feel an obligation to be both Sean and Carlos in this situation.
By all means.
Okay, so the way I look at this is that we're actually, because we never really talked about this, even though we had it on the docket for weeks, we just never talked about it, that what the lady who's over Viacom did when she merged all this, everybody said was not going to be a good deal. Everybody said this was a bad deal, this would fall through, that it would cave, that it would all collapse. doom, gloom, whatever the hell, and it has continued to build in this level of not only just cash flow, but people coming into what is being done here. And as much as people are going to naysay about, oh, we're handing over our streaming platform to this dude who was running a free service? What, really? We're going to do that? Yeah, sure. Go ahead, do that. At the same time that you're doing that, you have a network, a streaming platform that is going global. You know what that means? It means you don't have to pay whatever that channel is that Canada's airing.
Brave.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay them for showing Discovery or whatever, because it can come through CBS. You don't have to go through Netflix in the UK because it can go through CBS now through Paramount. You don't have to go to Amazon to watch Picard because it can go through CBS now. Through this global reach out that they now finally have. So yeah, as much as this idea of handing over all of this control to this dude that nobody seems to know anything about, they're still in this massive position to make money hand over fist now that they're pulling some of that licensing back and having direct control over it. Which also means direct access to people's money.
Yep, and they have a whole platform they can use to advertise with the Pluto TV now.
Exactly. Because like Justin was saying, we talked about this a little bit before the show. You don't have to have the new season of Discovery or little snippets of, or the beginning of Discovery or anything. You could just put the original series up there, the remastered original series on Pluto. Say, hey, you want more Star Trek? Come to CBS All Access or come to Paramount Plus.
And they can change out the seasons. They do like 1 year season. They have TOS, and they can switch it out to the next generation, and then they can just do it one season at a time.
But it even goes further than that.
Yeah.
You have this entire platform of like its own little television, like period. It's its own television because it's got channels all over it, right?
Yeah.
So you literally have this own platform where you can put all of the properties that you have that don't make money through this now Paramount Plus system.
So I'm looking at Tom Ryan, the new, the new head of CBS or Viacom CBS streaming. So this is just some of his job history from LinkedIn. Mobile music consultant for Virgin Mobile USA for 2002 to 2004. Senior Vice President of Digital Strategy and Development, EMI Music, from 2004 to 2007. He was the CEO of Threadless from 2008 to 2012. He was the founding board member of Smule from 2008 to present. He was the CEO founder of Pluto TV in 2013.
Oh, so okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
And as successful, Pluto TV is a success when it comes to digital content creation. The same cannot be said for Quibi.
Oh,
Which this week, the CEO of Quibi, Jeffrey Katzenberg and Meg Whitman released a official statement that the direct-to-mobile quick bites content creation site is officially closing after 6 months of a load of original content, over $2 billion spent, and struggling. just absolutely pathetic, really.
I see, and here's the thing. At this point, I can't mock them and I can't feel bad for them at the same time. You willingly spent $2 billion for an all-mobile platform. Dude, Candy Crush didn't spend that fucking much money. Okay,
Fatality.
I can't feel sorry for you that your platform is dead. On the other hand, you decided to release at about the same time that a global pandemic happened, and you had no control over that shit. As much as that should have launched your platform because it's short form content, you were using a whole bunch of actors who are used to studio fucking acting. So that is both. I can't fault you, but it's also kind of your fault.
When your most compelling show is Anna Kendrick palling around with her boyfriend's sex doll. I mean, like, I got nothing for you. It was garbage. Like, I mean, seriously, the most compelling show, I tried several different ones, was Anna Kendrick and a sex doll, because it was Anna Kendrick and a sex doll. I mean, when you feel so bad about your boyfriend's sex doll that you go and have a vaginoplasty for it, like, it's just
stop it.
Shut it down. In the words of Gordon Ramsay, shut it down.
Quibi now joins the graveyard of failed internet content delivery, along the likes of Go90
and Vine.
Let's see, what's bad is all those YouTubers have flocked over to Quibi thinking it was the next big thing where they can make money on now, have to go crawling back to YouTube.
They didn't hire any YouTubers. They hired a bunch of Hollywood actors.
Exactly.
If they'd hired a bunch of YouTubers, maybe they would have had a chance.
Yeah.
People actually used to creating short form content.
You spent $2 billion on a mobile platform.
At least Go90 did hire a bunch of YouTubers.
I don't think the mobile platform was the problem. I think most people, if you're going to watch short form content, chances are you're watching it on your phone. I don't know many people who. I mean, only time I show YouTube on my television is when I've already watched it on my mobile platform and I wanted to show my wife or my kid.
No, see, that's the thing. I'm not knocking it because it's on the mobile platform. You spent $2 billion.
Well, because the problem, it was only on mobile. There was no TV app. There was no PC app. It was only on mobile.
And that's where they failed.
Are we sure? Wait. Was Quibi not on Apple TV?
It released much later, but by then it was already too late.
But I mean, again, it wasn't just $2 billion on the platform. It was also $2 billion on content, like Anna Kendrick palling around with her boyfriend's sex doll.
Again, Candy Crush did not spend $2 million on a mobile app.
You are fixated on Candy Crush, aren't you?
Yeah, because that's literally the best fucking example of a mobile success.
Speaking of successes, the Uncharted video game series is getting a film adaptation starring Tom Holland. And as you can see on the screen now, we have our first on-set photos. For those of you that don't know, Uncharted is essentially Tomb Raider, but starring a guy instead of a chick.
Did they break his jaw for this role?
I don't think so. So, have any of you guys played Uncharted? What do you think?
I've never played Uncharted.
Well, he looks way too much like Brendan Fraser than anything in that. I'm sorry. He really does.
Fraser.
I know. No. I know. No, I know. Trust me. I know. And I wish he hadn't had all the shit that happened to him so he could still be in more movies. But God. But no, I'm not hyped about this as a lot of people are. It's like, there's that Monster Hunter movie that's coming out with Mila Jovovich, and I'm like, okay. I mean, we've had this track record of horrible, video game movies, and then we've had some fantastic ones, and then we had fucking Battleship.
Good night, everybody.
Oh God,
Now would be a good time for music.
What just happened?
I think we broke Ross. Ross.
So I broke the host.
What just happened?
Ross.exe has temporarily stopped working.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Guys, get it together. Get it together. Just because Carlos and Sean aren't here doesn't mean we go off the rails.
I mean, Carlos
do not mention
here.
that movie ever again.
Carlos is the worst.
But let's be honest.
What movie was
It technically was a video game movie, right?
It wasn't a video game movie. It was a fucking board game movie.
What movie was that?
Battleship.
It doesn't have the same effect the second time. It was out of left field.
Battleship was
So-
a video game.
So we know
They made
that
a
Ross
video
is-
game about the movie. It was terrible.
But
Yes,
the movie
it
was about a
was.
board game.
Yes, the movie was about a board
Give me
game.
words. Give me Battlefield Earth.
That's so
someone in a
fucking
movie,
meta, though.
someone in a damn
I
production
watch
studio saw
Battlefield
a
Earth
sketch
and
from
enjoy
Robot
it.
Chicken and thought it was a good idea, and they did it.
God.
They fucking did it.
Ross, breathe, honey, breathe. Just
Moving
breathe.
right along.
Did you guys see in the news that NASA landed on an asteroid and took a right off?
Yes, while we wait for our host to compose himself.
This is a much better idea than like capturing an asteroid and bringing it into Earth orbit.
Yeah, I think it's a lot safer because with the track record that certain things have trying to do anything with an asteroid is iffy.
So what did NASA do? You said landed and then took right back off.
They landed and kind of like skated across the surface while like vacuuming up asteroid samples, and then took it right back off. And it'll be back here in a couple years with.
So we had a mobile Mega Maid. Nice.
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah. Mega Meg.
We're doing what Europe did 2
Suck.
years ago.
Suck.
Stop it.
Suck.
Stop it.
Have you not watched Baseballs?
Yes, he has. The problem
Yeah,
is he's.
I quote that movie with my sisters all the time. I know what Jason is referencing.
Suck.
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 Stop it. Suck.
Suck.
Suck. Suck. Suck. Suck. Suck. Okay, this was super off the rails tonight.
Justin, don't say it in that voice. It doesn't sound like suck. It sounds like a completely other word.
All right, let's move on to our final topic of the night. This took me by surprise. So, as we all know, Ruby Rose has left Batwoman, and a new character is taking her place. A character who, up until this point, has had no presence in the comic books at all. Until today, where the character of Ryan Wilder is appearing in Batgirl number 50, established to have a direct connection with Barbara Gordon and the rest of the Bat family. So will we see this connection in Batwoman? What do you guys think about this?
Yes.
Yes. Because that's what the article actually said. If pre-connection for Bat looks like. So
It's a retcon, so you got to bring it in the comics as well.
yeah, because this is the first time they're doing this particular character for Batwoman. Are they? Is it not? For the live action.
Look, at this point, I don't care if she's black or white or Asian or purple people eater. As long as she's better acted than Ruby Rose was, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, kind of draw me, but I can.
I couldn't look. You guys talk about Esposito being this guy who plays the same character no matter what the hell he does, right? That girl is the same. She's just a hard ass. Whatever role she's in, whatever role she's supposed to be playing, she's just a fucking hard ass, and it's unbearable at times. Like it was kind of cool in the Ghostbusters movie. But there was so much fucking wrong with the Ghostbusters movie that kind of cool was outshined. And then when she's in this role as Batgirl, it's like, no. I don't like this at all. This is, look, you can stick to all these kinds of I'm a badass roles. I'm indifferent. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna grab this other girl by the hair and just start kissing on her. Do that in any other role. I don't care. It didn't work in Batgirl. It just didn't work for me. And I'm a girl who likes girls.
I'm confused about Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Was she who was in Ghostbusters?
The girl who plays Batgirl was in the all lady Ghostbusters.
You mean
Ruby
Rose?
Ghostbusters?
Wasn't she the Egon chick?
No, that was Kate McKinnon.
Then why the hell have people been telling me it was the same chick?
Because they're
Those
mistaken.
people are wrong.
This people that have been in this group and in this call.
I have never
No.
said anything like that.
I sure didn't.
I mean, I'm not defending the Ghostbusters movie because it was absolutely garbage, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. That wasn't Ruby Rose.
Well, there you go. There you go. The best thing about the other Ghostbusters movie wasn't even Ruby Rose.
Let's focus on the story itself. They're introducing the character into the comics prior to the release in the show. Cool? Not cool?
Battleship.
Curious? Shut the
Battleship.
fuck up, Travis.
Battleship.
I will end this call right now. We will skip Florida Man, and we're all going straight to bed without dinner.
Actually, you
That
can't end the
works.
call because I have hosting controls, and so does Jason.
Well, then I will quit. All right, since nobody's interested in this, let's call our regular show a wrap for the day. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining us. For those of you who like to stick around for the...
Wait, we're not going to do what we're watching?
Oh, shit. Yeah. What are we watching?
Yeah. I thought we had a whole thing.
The damn battleship. Shit.
I need to get
have a whole bit planned.
So,
you know what?
so I'll start. I'll start. This week I've watched Battleship.
Hey, I didn't do it.
No. On a more serious note, it is the scariest time of the year, and so tonight I introduced the wife to The Shining, which is one of the best all-time movies. Stanley Kubrick, of course, not the Steven Weber Wings made-for-TV version. And again, it's just a classic. It's scary. It's dramatic. Red rum. So that's what we watched.
Well, I guess I'll go next. I haven't been watching too much outside of scary Star Trek, but yesterday we actually put on a few episodes of Futurama, and we had a blast with that. So
There's scary Star Trek.
yeah.
Travis managed to find the 30th scariest episodes of Star Trek.
I mean, like some of them are kind of like a stretch, but I mean, like I'm still.
Were you watching
the
Crusher?
motion picture?
Were you watching Crusher fucking Candle Ghost again or something? I mean,
No.
that's a pretty scary episode.
No, it was
No.
Threshold.
Stop
over
it.
and over and over.
No.
Oh, you mean where Paris?
No,
Hilton
actually,
was
Threshold. I
You mean-
almost considered putting Threshold on. there.
Ladies,
Like,
ladies, please
You
quit
mean
gossiping.
when Janeway and Paris got it on and had kids?
Ladies, please. We're trying to have a show here.
Justin, what have you been watching?
Oh, I love it. I'm broken here. Okay, I'm gonna finish the boys finally. Thank you, Carlos, because we were going to talk about it this week. I finally got that wrapped up, and whew, what a show that was! And other than that, just gaming and YouTube. It's just been, it's been a crazy week. I had a bunch of doctor stuff, so didn't really get to watch a whole much. And plus, all of the freaking podcasts we've had this week, thanks to some nameless person that I'm not going to bring up right now because it produces too much rage and anger in this group.
Battleship.
So, Son and I have something a little different planned for this week. Sun leapt feet first into a TikTok rabbit hole and decided to drag me down with her. So we are going to reenact one of the ones she introduced me to today.
So are you playing boss or am I?
I'm playing the boss. Yeah.
Okay. So you're going. Come on, Justin, quit it. In fact, mute yourself. The rest of you mute yourself. And I do.
But
mean
keep
it.
the cameras up. I want to see your reactions.
Yes, that would be nice. Okay, so that means you're going to get to sing. Okay, all right. Hey, boss. Remember the dominatrix who ordered the urethral sounder?
I'd almost happily forgotten. What about it? Does she have a complaint?
Oh no, not at all. Actually, they want to order another one. This time bigger.
Ooh. How much bigger?
Well, we don't have the size in stock, so I'm gonna make a real quick run to the metal shop, and I'll be back with it.
It's going where the poor guy pees. I'll shine it so it glides with ease. I hope after its use he'll be all right. It's going where the poor guy pees. The thought makes me weak in the knees. For what she paid, I'll give her one with spikes.
I hate life. I hate life.
This is why I don't watch TikTok.
Hello, talk with my old friend. I come to talk with you because a vision softly left footsteps while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain.
Stop playing the music before we get pulled.
Still leaves
Oh,
me
well.
And now you know why we've been laughing all week.
Perhaps. I have no idea. Anyway,
Thank you, Brenda.
I guess that's as good a note to end on as any.
No,
The guy's got a whole
God
channel
help
of
us
at
all.
least half of his videos are him responding to various Kinkster commissions.
There's an entire range of this stuff on TikTok called Kink Talk, and look.
This
I
is
have
why I don't watch TikTok.
I have a policy against TikTok. I really
So do I.
But I make
is why I
exception
have a
for the
policy.
exceptional, and this was exceptional.
Damn it!
I made
there's a witch
Ross.
that orders.
Promise.
There's a
I
witch
made
that
Ross
orders a fertility
cry.
dagger, where the shaft, the handle of the knife is a dick,
Battleship.
the guard is a scrotum stretched like a batwing.
Stop it.
No. Fuck Black.
On the
I'm going
other
straight
side,
for-
though,
I'm going straight
on the
to
other side,
self-destruct.
there's another one where a guy asks him to make a knife for free. It's for his dad who's getting out of prison, who served 15 years for yeeting the pedophile predator that was after him
Wait a
off a
minute.
third floor balcony.
Okay, Ross, repeat that so you're there, so they actually hear it because
Yeah.
they were rude.
On the other side of the spectrum, he makes a knife for a guy who's getting out of prison for free because he was serving 15 years for yeeting a pedophile predator off a 3-story balcony.
Not just the pedophile predator.
His
It was
son's
the-
pedophile predator.
Yes, he was the guy. In the video, the guy who was getting out of jail was a Marine who took a dude who molested his kid and just yeeted him off the 3rd floor of a building.
Okay, and on that note, I
And
think we
that's
should
all
just go to
for
Florida Man.
tonight.
Yeah.
I think we've all thoroughly broken each other tonight. It was excellence. If you want to stay around for our post-show Florida Man segment, we hope to have you here. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Can we skip Florida Man for Ross sings more TikTok videos?
Well, I'd have to watch more TikTok videos in order to sing more TikTok.
Okay,
videos.
so now you have a mission for next week.
I'll send you the butt plug one.
And
Would you
you
like
have
to
to
put
get
a
a
butt
voice.
plug?
You
All I need from you is
you guys have a good night. I'm out of here. You
And
guys,
Travis is running away because he is scared of all of us now.
you're all
I'll
bad
keep the package real
influences,
discreet. Your
and
name
We're all
is-
bad
need to know.
influences.
I can't
your
get that one right.
influences are bad, and you should feel bad.
Oh, yeah, wait a second. We're only rubbing off on
We'll
you, buddy.
be back next week. Carlos will hopefully be back as well Sean.
Inspire all of us.
And we will talk about all the fun, geeky stuff that's happened throughout the week. You guys have an outstanding weekend, and we'll see you all next time. My name is
Bye-bye.
Ross, aka Live, Love, Play. For Travis, Jason, Son, and Justin, good night.
And
Have fun storming the castle.
battleship.
You guys have a good night. Bye bye.